Sometimes when a kid's silence isn't just shyness, but a sign that their very identity is being quietly erased by neglect. I mean, think about it, right? In any classroom, anywhere in the world, there are always the quiet students, the ones who don't make a fuss, who seem so easy to manage. They're there, but a lot of the time they just kind of fade into the background. And this is the question at the heart of what we're talking about today. What if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if that silence isn't just a personality trait, but a symptom, a cry for help that we're just not hearing? To really explore this, we're diving into a fascinating article from Psychology Today. It tells the story of one of these unseen students, straight from an expert who learned to pay attention when almost everyone else had stopped. And this quote, well, it's really the whole idea in a nutshell. It's so simple, but so profound. It's a challenge, really, to look past the quiet exterior and actually wonder what that silence might be covering up. So the person who wrote this is Dr. Castell Britton. And get this, he's an expert forensic and educational psychologist. He even has a PhD in criminal justice. This story comes from his time working in Bogota, so you know he's looking at this situation through a really unique professional lens. It gives his personal story a ton of weight. And that brings us to a young man named Juanma. He's the student at the center of all this. He wasn't asking for help, not in any obvious way. But there was this quiet, troubling pattern that Dr. Britton just couldn't ignore. It started with the little things, the kinds of details that are so easy to just dismiss. The first clue was Juanma's uniform. Day in and day out, it just looked, well, uncared for. Then there were his eyes. The way Dr. Britton describes them is just so vivid. He says they carried a constant heaviness, like he was already exhausted before the day had even begun. That's not just sleepy, that's a whole different kind of tired. He also kept himself completely. While other kids were chatting and connecting, Juanma was like his own little island, actively pushing away any kind of interaction. And finally, this physical retreat just became more and more obvious. His head was down on his desk a lot. Not just once in a while, but so often that it became a clear pattern of just total disengagement. Now, here's the really crucial part. All of these signs were right there, in plain sight. But for most of the other teachers, it just became normal. He was just Juanma, the quiet kid who sleeps. It happens so often, it actually stopped being a red flag. It's kind of scary how easily that can happen. But Dr. Britton couldn't let it go. He felt he had to understand what was going on, why everyone else had just accepted this as normal. And that decision, well, that was the turning point. The moment happened one afternoon. Dr. Britton was walking past a 10th grade chemistry class and saw Juanma, out cold, fast asleep at his desk. And the class was just going on around him as if he wasn't even there. He knew he just couldn't walk away. When Dr. Britton gently woke him up to talk, this was Juanma's immediate response. What do you want? It's so defensive, so guarded. It tells you everything you need to know about a kid who absolutely does not expect an adult to approach him with kindness. In the safety of the office, though, the walls started to come down. He admitted he didn't like to talk, that he didn't trust anyone. He talked about this profound feeling of being alone, even in a crowd, and he said he felt this deep anger that he couldn't even explain. And that was the big discovery. Juanma wasn't just tired from staying up late. This was a deep, long-term emotional exhaustion. His body was literally just shutting down from the sheer weight of it all. You see, this whole experience connects directly to Dr. Britton's larger work. It's a real-world example of how unaddressed pain like this can fundamentally shape a young person's identity, their behavior, and their future. He actually has a name for this, identity restoration theory. And the idea is that we all build our sense of self on 3 pillars: connection, meaning, and belonging. When those things are missing from a child's life, their identity starts to weaken and crumble. Dr. Britton goes way deeper into this in his book, Dangerous Minds. One of his core arguments is that emotional pain, when you ignore it, it doesn't just go away, it transforms. And this isn't just a theory. The data really backs him up. A huge analysis in the journal Child Abuse and Neglect found that of all forms of childhood maltreatment, emotional neglect has one of the strongest links to depression later in life. Juanma's story is basically that research made real. Because here's the thing about pain. It doesn't just disappear when you ignore it. It always finds a way out. It transforms into anger or withdrawal or exhaustion. And tragically, these are the very behaviors that so often get punished, when they should really be investigated. So, what's the takeaway from all this? It really all comes down to the incredible power of just choosing to be present, to really truly see the children right in front of us. The answer isn't more discipline. It's a totally different kind of response. It requires careful observation to spot the patterns in the first place. It demands active listening to create a safe space for someone to finally talk. And most of all, it takes a real, deliberate effort to understand the why behind the what. Dr. Britton ends his article with such a powerful thought. He says, Juanma was never invisible. I chose to see him. And that leaves all of us with a really critical question to carry with us. In our own lives, in our schools, and our communities, who is the Juanma that we might be overlooking?